Yo guys, it's Josh, also known as Wats here, and welcome to another show of Wats Sports Hawaii. Guys, before I get the show started here for today, I have a few announcements here. The first one is that if you hear a lot of noises, especially as if the air conditioner is running, yes, I have the air conditioner running today because if you haven't been checking the Hawaii weather, it has been hot lately. So yeah, that's one thing. So if you getting irritated by the background noise of the AC, see in the background, I'm sorry, but for me, if I don't have the AC on right now, it's a hot one. The second thing is, if this is the first time you have seen my face on your screen of mystery, go down there and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss another show of Wats Sports Hawaii. Alright guys, enough of the chit chatter now. Now let's go ahead and get right into the main stories. The first story for our main stories here for today is that the University of Hawaii football team last Saturday defeated Duquesne on homecoming night 42-21. Now the University of Hawaii will travel to the Bay Area in San Jose State and take on the San Jose State Spartans for a Mountain West Conference game. Meanwhile, at the Stan Sheriff Center, the University of Hawaii Rainbow Waianae volleyball team will come home and play 2 matches in the Big West Conference for this week. The first match will be against Cal State Fullerton, which is tomorrow on Friday at 7 p.m. and then on Sunday against UC Riverside. The University of Hawaii Rainbow Waianae volleyball team is 6-5 overall and are 2-0 in the Big West Conference. Yesterday, the University of Hawaii men's basketball team, held their media day yesterday at the Stan Sheriff Center as well. The University of Hawaii men's basketball team coming off of an okay season, but has high hopes for this season as they're coming off of a first round Big West tournament loss to UC Irvine and came off of a 17-13 record overall record last year. Tip-off is within 6 weeks. The National Basketball Association, the Los Angeles Clippers, are here in Hawaii as of right now, and they're here for their preseason training, and they're going to play a preseason game against the Sydney Kings. The LA Clippers last year did not make the playoffs and traded away pretty much everyone on their roster, but they are still a formidable foe in the Western Conference. Last Saturday, Mililani quarterback Dylan Gabriel broke the record of Tua Tagovailoa's passing yards in a career in high school for Hawaii last week Saturday against Waianae. Dylan Gabriel posted 362 yards of passing, which was enough to break Tua Tagovailoa's record. And finally, last Saturday as well, our Hawaii boys just went off. And when I mean off, I mean they just went off and they were lit. Mackenzie Milton on Friday started off with a total of 6 touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing in the University of Central Florida's win over the Florida Atlantic Owls. Then later that night, Mililani alum running back Vavai Malapai scored 2 touchdowns, including the game winner at home against the University of Washington State, as the Trojans were victorious. Then the next morning, Jordan Ta'amu, Ole Miss Pro City alum, went off Saturday morning as he led his Ole Miss Rebels to a big win and pretty much was setting records at Ole Miss last week Saturday. And finally, right after Jordan Ta'amu went off in the morning, right after Jordan Ta'amu was Tua Tagovailoa as he went off against Texas A&M as he and his Alabama Crimson Tide went on to beat Texas A&M big time. Alright guys, we are here for our next segment here, and that will be PTI, pardon the interruption. Now, I don't have too much questions here for today because I couldn't really think of any hot topics here for Wats Sports Hawaii, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. But here we go, PTI right now. the first topic / question for today's PTI is, what does it mean for Dylan Gabriel to break the all-time record for the Hawaii High School passing yards record? Now, Dylan, I personally know Dylan Gabriel, and he's just an amazing kid, and I'm just trying to grab my words here as I try to find my words, but he is such a humble kid, and that just shows how hard of a worker he is, and I know he's probably throwing passes right now as I speak, even though he may be in class right now, but I bet you that's what he's doing right now. But that's how hard of a worker Dylan Gabriel is. He loves the game of football. He and Coach Rod York, they go ahead and they watch film at Dylan's house with alongside Dylan's dad, Garrett Gabriel, and and I know that Dylan, he already said that the records and all the trophies comes first, and it's about winning for the team. But I really thought that Tua's record was gonna last a bit longer, like Timmy Chang's when Timmy Chang was the all-time passing leader at the time, and then it took 15 years for someone to break Timmy Chang's record, and then Tua broke it, and then now I believe 2 years later, Dylan finally broke it. So it's a great accomplishment, and Dylan has 2 games left, a big one against Kahuku and Kapolei, and then another playoff game, whoever it may be against. But hey, was a big accomplishment overall, and I wanted to congratulate Dylan on his great accomplishment. Our next question and topic for today is whether Kahuku is still a state contender, even though they lost pretty much the heart and soul and their best player on the team, Miki Aiea. Now, that is another big topic circling in Kahuku, and for many people in the state. Miki Aiea, a University of Washington commit, and he was just pretty much all over the field on defense. I mean, heck, he could probably play anywhere, and he can even probably play running back on the Kuku Red Raiders offense. But of course Kuku has all the running backs in the world. But that just pretty much sums it, that Miki Aiea is a great talent and could be the next Kuku great to be going from the Aiea and the Kuku North Shore area, and possibly go and make a name for himself on the mainland, and possibly go to the NFL. I mean, that's how much potential I see in this kid right here. But for Kahuku as a team, as of right now, I say they are still a state contender. Okay, yes, the heart and soul is Miki Aiea that they lost. Oof, there was some lightning, but getting back on topic though, Kahuku is still a state contender because they still have a lot of athletes, and they have a lot of talented players, not just Miki Aiea. And I can go on for hours about Kahuku being a state contender, but just to summarize, what I'm trying to say is that Kahuku is still a state contender, and it's a thing where it's not just about one guy, it's the whole team. So yeah, Kahuku's still a state contender in my books. Alright, and our last topic for today's PTI, pardon the interruption, segment is my overview and what I predict about what's going to happen this year for the University of Hawaii men's basketball team this year. Now, what I think about the University of Hawaii men's basketball team is that it's filled with potential, that it could be a great season once again, like that magical season where they beat Cal in the NCAA tournament and they won the Big West Conference. Now, that I say that because there are lots of returnees, and Aaron Gannat pretty much upgraded he upped his game in the recruiting process, and he got tons of great recruits coming in, and hopefully they'll fill in the holes here, and they'll find their just their team chemistry and where they're going to be at, and just to name a few newcomers, they have Mate Colina, Owen Holland as well, freshman, and they also have Zohar Ned, a Kapolei High School grad, and he was a stud in Kapolei. For those of you guys who've never heard of Zohar Ned, so watch out for him as well. And yeah, just to name a few. And then for those who are returning, that's going to be huge too. Just to name a few, Sharif Jame, Brock Steptoe, Drew Buggs are the guys to be watching out for, along with Jack Purchase. Those are pretty much key players from last year, and for them to be returning for one more year is huge. And hopefully they can just I'm just hoping that they can just lead the way. Yes, they had the chance last year, but they were pretty young last year, and and I guess not that experienced, but just that they had to be the guys last year, and now that they had the experience of being the guys for 1 year, hopefully they can show leadership and just pretty much lead the University of Hawaii. Because I think what was the big thing from last year was not the immaturity, but just the fact that they were just a young team. So yeah. So I do predict that the University of Hawaii men's basketball team, first off, winning season. Next up, I believe they'll win at least one game in the Big West tournament, and also maybe a postseason appearance. NIT, or maybe one of those smaller postseason tournaments, maybe even. But yeah, that's what I have for the University of Hawaii men's basketball team for 2018 to 2019. Alright guys, now it's the next segment, and it is my favorite segment, and for those of you guys who don't know what it is Pickle. Now for just to let you guys know, this will be the last week of the season that I will be choosing not all games, but 10 games pretty much of the 10 best games of the week, because we are pretty much closing the season, and and I'm going to try to get into that postseason rhythm by having a top 7 or only the top 5 games of the week, just because that we're getting close to the end of the season, sadly. And yeah, so just to let you guys know, this would be the last time I will be choosing 10 of the best games here for this week. And yeah, let's get right into this week. Our first game of Pick'em this week will be on the Big Island, as the Waianae Warriors will take on the Hilo Vikings. Now, Waianae, they are 3-1, along with Hilo 3-1. Now, this is a huge matchup, especially on the Big Island in the Division 1 part of the standings for Division 1 of the BIIF. And what I think about this game is that whoever wins this game will be the BIIF champion pretty much. So I gotta go with Hilo, because their explosive offense, mean defense, and yeah, they've been the BIIF Division 1 champions for a long time pretty much. I don't know how many consecutive, but yeah, I got Hilo this week over Waianae this week. Alright, now we're gonna go to Kaliki, as well, not for a Farrington game, but it's a huge game in the OIA Division 2, as the Kaiser Cougars take on the Kaimuki Bulldogs. Now, Kaimuki last week lost to St. Francis last week, and for Kaiser, this is a huge game for them, especially if they want to make the OIA Division 2 playoffs this year and probably make one of the more, the amazing comeback stories this year in Hawaii high school football. After going 0-7 last year and now, dropping all the way down to D2 and showing pretty much all of the Division 2 teams what's up. Now, but for this week though, I gotta go with Kaimuki because they're gonna be very determined to get back on the winning train and to still be still be undefeated in OIA Division 2 play. So yes, Kaimuki over Kaiser this week as well. Now we're gonna go to the windward side of Oahu, as this will be a Division 1 OIA ILH interleague play here, as the Damien Monarchs will go to Kailua to take on the Surf Riders. Now, last week, Damien been coming off of a, just not their best game of the year, pretty much after their Moanua pretty much dominated Damien from the start to the end. But I gotta go with Jake Holtz and the Damien Monarchs on this one because they're also going to be determined, and they haven't, and I don't think they haven't lost, I believe it was, now it's going to be, I don't think they lost three in a row in quite a while, especially since they've been down in D2 and now back up to D1. So yeah, Damien over Kailua this week. Game 4 of Pickle for the week of September 28 to September 29 will be a big one in Salt Lake, as the Moanua Namenehune will take on the Radford Rams. Now, as I said before, when I was doing the Damien Kailua game just a few minutes ago, Moanua dominated Damien from start to finish, as the Namenehune won on their homecoming I believe senior night game last week. Now, yes, I've been talking about Nick Au and how wow, it's a mean lightning. But getting back, yes, I've been talking about Nick Au and how well he's been playing lately, but the guy that really stand out last week was defensive back Micah Kim. And if you haven't seen a Moanua football game lately, especially this year, you gotta watch for Michael Kim, number 15. He was all over the field last week against Damien, making sacks, covering guys. I mean, he was doing everything last week, and he was pretty much my player of the game last week for Hawaii's main event. And yeah, gotta watch out for him, and that's why I have the Namenehune for the first time again, starting 6-0 for the first time in school history. The next one is a huge OIA Division 1 game, as we have playoff berths on the line, and on this game, as the Castle Knights will go to Aiea to take on the Na'ali'i of Aiea. Now, the playoff scenario for this one is that if Castle beats Aiea this week on Friday, Castle is in the OIA Division 1 playoffs. Now, to be honest, I pretty much wrote Castle off from the start because of their sloppy start and pretty much their sloppy start, and I think they were like 0-3 starting the year, but they came back, won 3 straight after that, and pretty much they look like a different team. So that's why I gotta go with the Castle Knights on this one. The next game will be a big one in Waipahu, as the Waipahu Marauders are celebrating their homecoming party, as they will take on the Lelehua Mules. Now, this one also has OIA Division 1 playoff scenarios here, as pretty much whoever wins this game will pretty much be in the front seat for a opening round they'll be in a they'll pretty much have a home game in the opening round of the OIA Division 1 playoffs, which will be in about 2 or 3 weeks from now. But yeah, big game, for both teams. Lihue trying to but Lihue trying to regain ground on Walua and also Waipahu, because Waipahu, as I speak right now, they are undefeated in OIA Division 1 play, and Lihue has their one loss against Walua, of course. So big playoff scenarios and complications here as the Mules take on the Marauders. But for this week, I gotta go with Lihue on this one, because I believe Max Nichols will just pretty much tear up the Marauders on defense. But the only way I can see the Waipahu Marauders winning is if Alpha Failanga comes back, and I'm not too sure if he's gonna come back this week. But right now I have Lihue winning over Waipahu on Waipahu's homecoming night. Alright guys, game 6 of this week's Pick'em is a big one in the OIA Division 1 Open, as the Farrington Governors will travel to the west side of Oahu to take on the Waianae Sea Riders. Now, what's up at stake in Waianae this week? It is the last spot for a possible is a playoff spot in the OIA Division 1 Open playoffs for for next month in late October. But now, for those of you who don't know, as of right now, Farrington is in the driver's seat right now to take that last spot after beating Kapolei 13-0. So Farrington has the tiebreaker over Kapolei, and Kapolei already beat Waianae already. So as of right now, Farrington is in place for the last spot in the OIA Division 1 Open playoffs. And with this next win, this will pretty much just put a settlement saying, and pretty much if Farrington wins, they are pretty much in the playoffs, unless a miracle for Kapolei or maybe even Waianae happens. But for this one, I gotta go with Farrington on this one. So and that they're gonna make the playoffs this year. Alright guys, now let's go a little eastward from Waianae, but let's go not too far to the east, and let's go down to 76 South as the Campbell Sabres will take on the St. Louis Crusaders. Alright guys, I don't know why I got too excited for that one, but yes, it is another Campbell Sabres home game as they'll be taking on the St. Louis Crusaders. And for this matchup, I gotta go with St. Louis on this one, because the way Punahou picked and they just manhandled Campbell last week at home was just astonishing. To just see what Brady Hugh can do was amazing. So I gotta say for the same thing for Jaden Deloro if he comes back this week for the St. Louis Crusaders. Alright guys, game number 9 for this one is a big one at Aloha Stadium here, as the Kamehameha Warriors will take on the Punahou Buff and Blue. Now, for this one is a big one, and many questions will be answered. Something must give. Will it be Hugh Brady and the Punahou offense, or will it be the Kamehameha Warrior defense that's led by Hoku Arias and Tiger Peterson? And for those of you who are wondering, is that, oh, this must have playoff complications and so on. Well, not really, unless, of course, Kamehameha wins, and they're pretty much, because Punahou has at least a 2-game lead over Kamehameha right now, you know. But you know, it's a big game because this is a rivalry game for both teams, and you know, they're just trying to show that, you know, that they're the best private school football wise and all that, you know, all that hype. But for this week, I gotta go with Hugh Brady and the Punahou Buff and Blue, because they are, you know, just to see what they did against Campbell, what they did against Mililani, and then to hang with St. Louis 2 weeks ago is pretty good, excuse me. So I gotta go with Hugh Brady and the Punahou Buff and Blue on this one. Alright guys, and now it is time for Hawaii's main event. Alright guys, Hawaii's main event will be going to the North Shore as the number 4 Mililani Trojans will take on the number 2 Kahuku Red Raiders. Now, this week is a big one because Kahuku is having their their homecoming game this week against the Trojans, and also whoever wins this game will be in the driver's seat to be the number 1 seed for next month's OIA Division 1 Open playoffs. Playoffs. So a lot at stake, and we're gonna see pretty much everything coming from hits, amazing plays, big time plays, heroes, and so much more. But yeah, you know, big game in Kahuku this week. You know, a lot at stake and all that, and just for some fun facts for this week's Hawaii's main event that are also at stake as well is that Kahuku is looking for their 50th straight I'll just say some nice things about Kahuku, but yes, Kahuku is looking for their 50th straight victory at home. Last time they lost at home was in the OIA playoffs against Kapolei to end their season for that year, and that was the last time they've lost at home. But also as well, for more records and fun facts, is that Mililani only has two victories over Kahuku, and that was in 2013, the OIA Division 1 semifinals, and the OIA championship in 2014, the next year after 2013. But yes, and those 2 times the Trojans went on to win the OIA championship, and they went on to have a state championship appearance as well. And there's only one quarterback to have beaten Kahuku, and that is by the name of Mackenzie Milton, who is right now contending for a Heisman Trophy at the University of Central Florida. So for Dylan to try and beat Kahuku this week or for any time during the season, you know, but especially now, that will pretty much put him on top with Mackenzie Milton, because that's Mackenzie Milton, of course. But to be the second quarterback in Mililani school history to beat the Kahuku Red Raiders. And now, guys, it is time to choose a winner for this game. And this one is a tough one. A lot at stake. I mean, tons of friendships on the line, and pretty much a lot of hate, a lot of likes on the line right now, as this one is a big one, and this will pretty much determine I'll go as a show, as a man. But for this week, you know, Gotta love Dylan Gabriel. Gotta love Kahuku's homecoming. You know. Gotta love Kahuku Shrimp. Gotta love Mickey Aiea. And you gotta love a Kahuku Red Raider victory! Let's get it! Kahuku Red Raiders! Here we go! The Kahuku Red Raiders! Here's this week over the Mililani Trojans. Homecoming victory over Mililani. Here we go. Let me get this on. Yups. And don't forget about this. Robbie Salva, I got faith in you, my brother. You guys better win over the Mililani Trojans, as I'm on a 5-game win streak right now. And this week is going to be 6. Kahuku over Mililani, baby. Choo! And guys, don't forget, if you like this already, and if you have other thoughts about this game, go in the comment section and say who you have for this week and who you have this week and why, along with other pick'em games. And also, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and also hit that notification bell down below as well. Alright guys, I gotta go and go pump up the Kahuku Red Raiders right now. Lick 'em, false 'em, and shoot! Oh.